So today we're going to dive into the most fundamental, most abundant, and, maybe the most misunderstood element of them all, hydrogen. Let's get right into it. Okay, let me start by asking you a question. If you were going to build a universe from scratch, what would be your absolute number one must-have ingredient? What's the simplest, most basic building block for literally everything? Well, the answer is hydrogen, element number one on the periodic table. And it is as simple as it possibly gets. Just one single proton sitting in the middle with one little electron zipping around it. That's it. And from that unbelievably simple blueprint, the universe somehow built pretty much everything else. It is the undisputed champion of stuff, making up more than 3/4 of all matter we can see. But here's where it gets kind of weird. Hydrogen is so simple, so basic, that it doesn't really fit in anywhere. It's the ultimate loner of the periodic table. I mean, chemists have been arguing for ages about where to put it. Sometimes it acts like the metals in group 1, but it's not a metal. Other times it acts like the halogens in group 17, but it's not really like them either. It's truly in a class all by itself. So, if this stuff is literally everywhere in the universe, where is it right here on Earth? I mean, it's not like you can just reach out and grab a handful of hydrogen gas. No, it's hiding. It's locked away all around us, in plain sight. See, because hydrogen is so incredibly light, any free-floating gas mostly just escaped Earth's gravity billions of years ago. So the hydrogen that's left is almost all chemically stuck to other elements. And its most famous dance partner? Well, that's oxygen, of course. You take two hydrogen atoms, stick them to one oxygen atom, and you get H2O, water, the stuff that covers most of our planet. This leads to a pretty brilliant question, right? Since our planet is basically covered in this hydrogen-rich water, can we break those chemical bonds? Can we actually pry that hydrogen loose and set it free? Well, the answer is a big yes, and you can even do it yourself with stuff you probably have at home. Okay, so this process is called electrolysis. You can take two graphite rods, seriously, the lead from a mechanical pencil works, and you put them in some water. You just add a little baking soda to help the electricity move through it, and then you hook up the rods to a simple 9-volt battery. And almost instantly, you'll start seeing bubbles forming on each of those rods. Those bubbles, that's pure oxygen gas and pure hydrogen gas being ripped apart from water right before your very eyes. And here's the really cool part. If you collect those gases in separate test tubes, you'll find something amazing. You've made exactly twice as much of one gas as the other. And as you can see right here, that gas is hydrogen. That perfect 2-to-1 ratio, that's the H2 in H2O coming to life. You're literally proving the chemical formula of water. Okay, so we've freed the hydrogen, we've got it in our test tube, but what have we actually unleashed? Because this simple, super light gas is hiding a ton of energy. In science class, the classic test for hydrogen is to bring a lit match near the test tube. You get this really satisfying, squeaky pop sound. It's fun. But what happens if you scale that up? You go from a tiny test tube to, say, a big balloon filled with hydrogen. And suddenly, that little pop isn't so little anymore. It's a massive, fiery explosion. So why does it do that? Why does it explode? Well, hydrogen and oxygen can hang out together peacefully, but they need a little push to get them to react. That push is what we call activation energy. Think of it like a spark. That tiny bit of heat from a match is just enough to get the first few molecules going. That reaction releases a huge burst of energy, which then becomes the spark for the molecules next to them, and on, a massive, super fast chain reaction. And this right here is the whole story of hydrogen in a nutshell. It has this incredible dual nature. On one hand, that violent release of energy is unbelievably destructive. Think of the Hindenburg or even hydrogen bombs. But on the other hand, that exact same reaction, hydrogen combining with oxygen, is the ultimate creative force. It's the reaction that makes water, the molecule that makes all life on our planet possible. Destruction and creation, all in one little atom. And this creative power isn't just a thing here on Earth. Let's zoom out a bit, way out. Because on a cosmic scale, this simple element is the engine that runs the entire universe. Just let this number sink in for a second. 75%. 3 out of every 4 atoms in the entire known universe are hydrogen atoms. Stars, galaxies, giant clouds of gas, it's almost all hydrogen. Now think back to that balloon explosion. The incredible energy that fuels every single star, our sun included, comes from the very same principle, releasing the power locked inside hydrogen. The only difference is the scale and the method, which is even more intense. See, deep inside a star, the gravity and the pressure are just insane. It's so hot and so dense that hydrogen atoms don't just burn. They're physically smashed together so hard that they fuse into a new element, helium. This process, called nuclear fusion, unleashes an absolutely mind-boggling amount of energy. So hydrogen isn't just in the universe, it literally powers the universe. So, if hydrogen is the clean, powerful fuel of the stars, could we maybe bring some of that magic down to Earth to help solve our own energy crises? This is the big idea behind something called a hydrogen fuel cell. And it's really clever. It's basically that electrolysis experiment we talked about, but run in reverse. Instead of using electricity to split water, you combine hydrogen and oxygen to create electricity. You feed hydrogen to one side and just regular oxygen from the air to the other. A special material splits the hydrogen's electrons off, forces them to travel through a circuit, which is your electricity, and then they meet back up with the hydrogen and oxygen. And what's the only thing that comes out the tailpipe? Pure water. But here's the catch, and it is a really big one. A fuel cell is only as clean as the hydrogen you put into it. Right now, most hydrogen is what we call gray hydrogen. It's made from natural gas, and that process pumps out a lot of CO2. Then there's blue hydrogen, which is the same thing, but they try to capture the CO2. But the real goal, the holy grail, is green hydrogen. That's made using our electrolysis experiment, but powered by clean energy like solar and wind. That's the one that has zero emissions. So you've got this incredible promise on one side, a powerful, totally clean fuel source made from the most common thing in the universe. But on the other side, the problems are very, very real. Making that green hydrogen is still super expensive, and just trying to store and transport this super light gas safely, well, that's a massive engineering challenge we're still trying to solve. All right, that was a whirlwind tour, from a single proton all the way to the fuel of the stars and maybe our future. So let's just boil it all down to the key things you need to remember. First off, remember it's the simplest and most common element there is, period. Second, here on our planet, it's mostly locked up in water. Third, it's a super reactive gas with that wild dual nature. It can create life-giving water or cause massive explosions. Fourth, it's the fuel that makes the stars shine through nuclear fusion. And finally, number 5, it has incredible promise as a clean fuel for us, but we have some serious challenges to figure out first. Which really just leaves us with one last huge question to think about. There's a really cool kind of poetry to it, isn't there? The idea that the very first, the most basic building block of our entire universe might just be the thing that holds the key to powering our complex future in a clean, sustainable way. What do you think?